roll, action.
Freeze!
Freeze.
Okay, Kim out.
Don't move.
Unfreeze! And cut!
Alright, person who clicked on this video, thank you. But we're not going to beat around the bush though. We all know who and what the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are. So there's no need to explain the background of the show's development and our production. All that can just be left at the door, right? We here at the Best Bros, or whatever we're calling ourselves, haven't seen this show in a couple years and thought it would be neat to recount the series here on this channel. We may find a deeper purpose for this video series as we go along. Maybe. I hope. With that out of the way, I'm the Final Boosh, and this is Day of the Dumpster. The episode opens with two astronauts traveling to some kind of planet or asteroid that's totally not the moon because it's right there. I don't know where they're at. The wiki says that it's the moon, but we later learn that Rita's palace is located there, so I don't know. The two astronauts find this mysterious contraption that they instantly identify as a space dumpster.
What do you think it is? It looks like a giant space dumpster.
Which I suppose makes sense. They're in space, it's a dumpster looking thing, it tracks. According to the intro, Rita has been trapped in this dumpster for over 10,000 years. She must have done some pretty heinous stuff for that to happen. So it only makes sense that the only real form of security is not touching the handle. Rita is now free. She mentions something of a coming out party, which totally meant something different in 1993, and would usually involve destroying any nearby planet. Down on that nearby planet, we're introduced to our main characters. Jason, Zach, and Trini are training, and Kimberly is practicing her gymnastics. The last main character, Billy, arrives and says a bunch of words to explain that he's ready for his martial arts lesson.
Well, I think I'm mentally and physically prepared for my first karate class.
So we can understand that he's the smart one. I would love to go into each character individually, but they're all just the same type of good guy. And I don't remember if they escaped that bubble anytime soon. Just remember that they're all morphonomically diverse. Bulk and Skull, two of the best characters in Power Rangers, walk in and begin hitting on the girls. Don't worry, this is 1993. This is before two men can go into a juice bar gym thing and talk to some girls and not have it be considered sexual harassment. The girls just handle their business and flips the bullies on the gym mat that Kimberly definitely should have landed on in the first place and move on. Back on the moon, the actual moon, Rita makes her plans towards Earth known. We get used to that Goldar talking scene and she burpees into the camera. Back on Earth, I suppose we start getting some characterization with these guys. Billy's not much of a fighter, and Jason begins to display some of his leadership abilities. We also get a quick crash course on what martial arts should be used for, as a preventative is not to have kids instantly spin kicking one another in the schoolyard after watching.
Jimby. All right, class, what is it that martial arts helps us to develop? Billy?
Courage, kindness, integrity, fitness, loyalty, and discipline.
That's good. You memorized that very quickly.
As if that actually stopped anyone. And as to prove my point, Bulk and Skull walk up to Jason and immediately tells the audience of kids what practicing martial arts is really used for.
Teach us how to beat people up. Yeah!
Damn, that's a pretty solid kick for a guy Bulk's size. I'm legit impressed. An earthquake starts and is never really explained. Zordon says that it's Rita attacking the planet, but she doesn't attack Angel Grove until the end of the episode. Just say you don't know, dude. Anyway, Zordon orders Alpha to randomly grab 5 overbearing and over-emotional humans. That roughly translates into teenagers. Why though? I'm sure there's tons of cops or firemen that are just as domineering as some kids. Grab some of them. Once they arrive, Zordon disappears to make an entrance and just begins dumping info on these kids. And if I was there, my first question would be, holy shit, are you God? And Zordon and his stupid tube would probably just say yes to push a power coin on it. Zordon tactlessly starts throwing around words like non-believer to the group of kids that he abducted, and then is shocked that after his possibly big dumb story about intergalactic witches and fighting forces, that they decide to walk out on him. That's what you get for asking for overbearing and over-emotional humans. Ask adults next time. And I mean it too, he's just no-selling their answers and just begins assigning them colors and megazords. Like I said, they walk away. Alpha's like, yeah dummy, what did you expect? And Zordon off screen probably told him to get ready to recover the morphers and the bodies. Outside the command center, the teens are attacked by Rita's foot soldiers, the Putty Patrol. and obviously the sneak attack leaves them outclassed. Seeing that they have no choice but to believe the big giant head in the tube, they take a chance on those morphers.
Mastodon!
Pterodactyl!
Triceratops!
Saber-tooth tiger!
Tyrannosaurus!
And although I could talk a lot of crap about this episode's breakneck pacing, I'll never get sick of them screaming out the dinosaur names. That'll always be so fucking cool. Zordon then orders Alpha to teleport them to the city where Goldar is attacking, which I guess is the smarter move. I'm sure the command center has a giant shield or a big door protecting them from the Putty Patrol or something. I always found it strange that Kimberly and Billy, the two of the five I assume were the weakest fighters, start smacking guys up, convincingly too. Does the suits help them with that? I'm sure if Power Rangers weren't confined to the Japanese footage, we see them struggling. Maybe. With Goldar losing, Rita makes him grow. Grow. And the Rangers call on their Megazords and fire on him a few times in their tank mode. They then enter the combined battle mode. Goldar seems to be winning until they summon the Power Sword and he randomly gets the fuck out of Dodge. And to be fair, I'd leave too if someone was about to use something called the Power Sword on him. Rita does what the kids say and crashes out, and the Rangers return to the command center. Zack correctly calls them out on being really lucky in that fight, and Zordon tries to do what the kids say and riz them up. But he's absolutely right, they did get really lucky. At any rate, they do their Power Rangers handshake thing and the episode ends. And that was the first episode, Day of the Dumpster. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, I got whiplash from the pacing issues of this episode. Once they entered the command center, someone stepped on the gas and refused to lit up. So I don't think this one aged all too well, especially since the intro of the show does a pretty good job explaining everything with the little words they used. It's not a hard premise. Evil witch attacks and giant head in the tube gives 5 teenagers the power to fight against her and her forces. I don't think this episode was entirely needed and the show could have just opened with them being the Power Rangers already. That change might have fixed the pacing issues of anything. But I won't lie, everybody's saying the word power constantly and the riffs of Juan Wasserman absolutely did a lot of the heavy lifting here and secretly disguised the fact that all this was really fast and a little stupid.